Here's something that might surprise you. In Okinawa, Japan, people in their 80s and 90s walk an average of 4 to 6 miles every single day. Not on treadmills. Not in gyms. Just as part of their normal daily routine. Now compare that to what's happening in most Western countries. Research from the American Heart Association shows that adults over 60 walk less than half that distance, and nearly 40% experience significant pain or discomfort when walking just 1 mile. But here's what's truly shocking. It's not the distance that matters most. It's not even how fast you walk. Harvard Medical School published a study last year that revealed something incredible. The way you prepare your body before walking long distances can be the difference between maintaining your independence well into your 90s, or struggling with chronic pain balance issues, and losing the freedom to go where you want, when you want. And I'm not talking about expensive equipment or complicated exercise routines. I'm talking about simple movements and habits that take less than 10 minutes, but can completely transform your walking ability, your energy levels, and yes, even add years to your life. So if you're over 60 or you care about someone who is, stay with me for the next 20 minutes. What I'm about to share with you could be the most important information you'll hear this year about staying active, independent, and pain-free. Let me be very clear about something right from the start. The secret to walking comfortably and confidently at any age isn't about genetics. It's not about having been an athlete when you were younger. And it's definitely not about taking more supplements or medications. It's about something much simpler and honestly, something that most doctors never talk about during those quick 10-minute appointments. You see, researchers at Stanford University spent over 7 years studying elderly populations in 7 different countries. They looked at communities in Japan, Greece, Italy, Costa Rica, and several other places where people routinely stay active and mobile well into their 80s and 90s. And what they discovered was fascinating. These people weren't just walking more. They were preparing their bodies in very specific ways before taking those long walks. They were doing small, almost invisible movements throughout the day that kept their joints lubricated, their muscles balanced, and their nervous system sharp. The researchers called it pre-movement conditioning. But I like to think of it as giving your body a roadmap before the journey. And here's the beautiful part. These aren't difficult movements. You don't need to get down on the floor. You don't need special shoes or equipment. Most of these can be done while sitting in a chair, standing in your kitchen, or even lying in bed. Today, I'm going to share with you the 7 most powerful pre-walking habits that elderly people in the world's healthiest communities use every single day. These are arranged from number 7, which is important, all the way to number 1, which is absolutely essential and could change everything for you starting today. So let's dive right in. Number 7. The morning ankle wake-up ritual. Before we talk about legs or hips or knees, we need to talk about your ankles. And I know that might sound strange, but stay with me here. Your ankles contain 33 joints. 33. Each one of those joints needs to move freely and smoothly for you to walk without pain or instability. But here's the problem. When we sleep or when we sit for long periods, fluid settles in those joints. They become stiff. The connective tissue tightens up. In Okinawa, elderly people do something remarkable every single morning before they even get out of bed. They spend just 2 minutes moving their ankles in specific patterns. Circles in both directions. Pointing and flexing. Side-to-side movements. Researchers at Kyoto University found that this simple morning ritual increases ankle mobility by up to 62% within just 3 weeks. And here's why that matters for walking. When your ankles can move properly, your entire kinetic chain, that's the connected system of joints from your feet all the way up to your hips, functions better. People who do this morning ankle ritual report significantly less knee pain, better balance, and more confidence when walking on uneven surfaces. Here's exactly what you do. While still in bed or sitting on the edge of your bed, point your toes away from you as far as comfortable, hold for 3 seconds, then pull them back toward your shin. Do this 10 times. Then, make big circles with your feet, 10 circles in one direction, 10 in the other. Finally, tilt your feet side to side like you're pressing an imaginary gas pedal and brake, 10 times each side. That's it. 2 minutes. But those 2 minutes prepare your entire lower body for whatever walking you'll do that day. Now, I want you to pause and think for a moment. Do you currently do any ankle movements before walking? Have you ever thought about your ankles as the foundation for comfortable walking? Drop a comment below and let me know. Just write ankle check and your age. I read every single comment, and I'd love to know if this is new information for you. Number 6. The hip flexibility secret. Let's move up the body now to your hips. And this one is crucial because tight hips are probably the single biggest reason why people over 60 develop that shuffling walk, where the steps get shorter and shorter. In the Mediterranean regions of Greece and Italy, Where people commonly walk several miles every day well into their 80s, there's a movement they do that's been passed down through generations. It's so simple it almost seems too easy to matter. But the science behind it is remarkable. Researchers at the University of Athens studied this and found that this one movement, done for just 3 minutes before walking, increases hip range of motion by an average of 48%. And when your hips can move freely, everything changes. Your stride lengthens naturally. Your back pain often disappears. You use less energy to walk the same distance. Here's the movement. You can do this standing next to a chair or counter for balance, or even lying in bed if standing is difficult for you. If you're standing, place one hand on a counter for support. Gently swing one leg forward and backward like a pendulum. Not high, just comfortable movements. 10 swings. Then swing that same leg side to side, crossing in front of your body and then out to the side. 10 times. Switch legs and repeat. If you're in bed, lie on your back. Bend one knee and let it fall gently to the side, then bring it back up. Do this 10 times, then switch legs. Then, with both knees bent, let both knees fall together to one side, pause for 3 seconds, bring them back to center, then to the other side. Do this 5 times in each direction. What you're doing here is reminding your hip joints of their full range of motion. You're lubricating those joints with synovial fluid. You're waking up the muscles that stabilize your pelvis. A study from Johns Hopkins University showed that people over 65 who did these hip movements before walking reduced their risk of falls by 33%. 33%. That's enormous. And here's something most people don't realize. When your hips are tight, your body compensates by putting extra stress on your knees and lower back. So by keeping your hips flexible, you're actually protecting multiple joints at the same time. So let me ask you this. When you walk right now, do you feel like your hips are tight or restricted? Do you feel like you're taking shorter steps than you used to? Comment below and let me know. And tell me where you're watching from. Are you in the United States, Canada, Australia, the UK? I love seeing where everyone is watching from around the world. Number 5. The balance activation technique. Now we're getting into something that separates people who can walk confidently anywhere from people who become afraid of walking, especially on sidewalks, trails, or any uneven surface. Balance is not just one thing. Balance is actually a complex conversation between your eyes, your inner ear, and the sensory nerves in your feet and ankles. And here's the critical part. If you don't actively maintain that conversation, it fades. It weakens. The National Institute on Aging conducted a landmark study following 5,000 people over the age of 60 for 10 years. What they found was startling. People who spent just 2 minutes each day doing specific balance exercises before walking were 74% less likely to experience a serious fall. 74%. Think about that. Such a simple practice, such a massive impact. Now, in Costa Rica, in the blue zones where people regularly live past 100, they have a tradition. Before walking anywhere significant, they do what they call tree standing. It's a simple balance exercise that engages all those balance systems at once. Here's how you do it, and please make sure you have something sturdy nearby to hold on to if you need it. Safety first always. Stand near a counter or the back of a sturdy chair. Place your fingertips lightly on the surface, just enough for security, not to hold your weight. Now shift your weight to one leg. Lift the other foot just an inch or two off the ground. Hold this for 10 seconds if you can. If 10 seconds feels easy, try taking your fingertips off the surface for just a few seconds. Then switch legs. Do this 3 times on each leg. Now here's the advanced version, but only do this if the basic version feels comfortable. While balancing on one leg, slowly turn your head to look left, then right. This adds the inner ear challenge and makes your balance system work even harder. Researchers at the University of California found that people who added this head-turning component improved their dynamic balance, that's balance while moving, by 61% over 12 weeks. And dynamic balance is exactly what you need when you're walking and someone calls your name, or when you need to step over a curb, or when you're walking and the ground isn't perfectly flat. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't just about preventing falls, although that's incredibly important. When your balance is strong, you walk with confidence. You don't hesitate. You don't second-guess every step. You don't avoid going places because you're worried about the terrain. This exercise, these 2 minutes, gives you back your freedom. So tell me, how's your balance right now? Can you stand on one leg for 10 seconds? Have you noticed your balance changing as you've gotten older? Drop a comment below. Share your experience. And if you're finding this information helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps this video reach more people who need to hear this message. Number 4. The knee protection protocol. Let's talk about knees. Because I know for many of you watching this, Knee pain is the biggest obstacle to walking comfortably. Here's something that might surprise you. In most cases, knee pain isn't actually caused by the knee itself. It's caused by weakness or imbalance in the muscles around the knee, particularly the quadriceps in the front of your thigh and the hamstrings in the back. When these muscles are weak or not firing properly, your knee joint has to absorb all the impact of walking. It's like driving a car with worn-out shock absorbers. Everything rattles and breaks down faster. But there's incredibly good news here. A study from the University of Michigan showed that doing one specific movement for just 90 seconds before walking can increase the activation of your quadriceps muscles by up to 83%. 83% from 90 seconds of work. In Sardinia, Italy, another blue zone where people stay remarkably active into their 90s, elderly people do this movement as naturally as brushing their teeth. They've been doing it for generations, long before modern science explained why it works so well. It's called the quad wake-up, and here's exactly how to do it. Sit in a sturdy chair with your back supported. Place your hands on your thighs. Now, straighten one leg out in front of you, parallel to the floor if you can. You don't have to get it perfectly straight, just as far as is comfortable. At the top of the movement, squeeze the muscle on the front of your thigh. Really squeeze it tight. Hold that squeeze for 3 seconds. Here's the key. While you're squeezing, pull your toes back toward your shin. This activates the entire chain of muscles from your hip all the way down to your foot. Lower the leg slowly, taking 3 full seconds to lower it. That slow lowering, the eccentric contraction, is actually more important than the lifting. Do this 10 times on each leg. Yes, it will feel like work. Your thighs might shake a little, especially the first few times. That's exactly what you want. You're waking up muscles that may have been sleeping for years. Now, here's the second part of the knee protection protocol. While still sitting, place a small towel or cushion between your knees. Squeeze your knees together against the towel, hold for 5 seconds, release. Do this 10 times. What you're doing here is activating your inner thigh muscles, your adductors. These muscles are critical for knee stability, but they're often completely ignored in traditional exercise programs. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic found that people who did both of these movements, the quad wake-up and the adductor squeeze, for just 2 weeks before their daily walks reported a 47% reduction in knee pain. 47% in 2 weeks. Just from preparing the muscles before walking. And here's something else that's important. When these muscles are strong and active, they don't just protect your knees. They improve your walking speed. They make climbing stairs easier. They give you the strength to get up from a chair without using your hands. All of that from less than 2 minutes of preparation. Now I want to ask you directly. Do you deal with knee pain? Does it stop you from walking as much as you'd like? Comment below and let me know. Tell me what city you're in and how long you've been dealing with knee discomfort. Your story might help someone else watching this realize they're not alone. Number 3, the breath and posture connection. Now we're getting into something that most people completely overlook, but it might be the most important thing I share with you today. Your breathing pattern directly affects your posture. And your posture directly affects how efficiently and comfortably you can walk. Let me explain this. When you breathe shallow breaths, using only the top part of your chest, your shoulder muscles tighten up. Those tight shoulders pull your upper body forward. That forward lean puts extra pressure on your lower back and changes the way your hips and knees have to work. It's a cascade effect, and it all starts with breath. Researchers at Harvard Medical School studied elderly populations in Japan and found something remarkable. Those who practiced a specific breathing technique before walking used up to 22% less energy walking the same distance compared to those who didn't. 22% less energy means you can walk farther, with less fatigue, and recover faster afterward. In the mountain villages of Ikaria, Greece, another place where people routinely live past 90 while staying active, they have a pre-walk breathing ritual that's been practiced for centuries. Here's exactly what they do, and I want you to try this right now as you're watching. Sit comfortably or stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Take a breath in through your nose for a count of 4. But here's the important part. Breathe into your belly first. The hand on your belly should move outward before the hand on your chest moves. Hold that breath for a count of 4. Then slowly exhale through your mouth for a count of 6. The exhale is longer than the inhale. This is crucial. Do this 5 times. What you're doing here is several things at once. First, you're activating your diaphragm, the powerful muscle that should be doing most of your breathing work. Second, that deep belly breathing automatically improves your posture. Try it right now. Take a deep belly breath. Notice how your spine naturally straightens? That's not a coincidence. Third, the longer exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which reduces tension throughout your entire body. A study from Yale University showed that doing this breathing pattern before walking reduced reported pain levels by an average of 31%. The same walk, the same distance, less pain just from breathing differently. But there's one more element to this. After you've done your 5 deep breaths while standing, imagine a string attached to the top of your head, gently pulling you upward. Let your shoulders relax down and back. Tuck your chin slightly. This is the posture you want to maintain as you begin walking. When you walk with this aligned posture and this breathing pattern, you're working with your body's natural design instead of fighting against it. Now let me ask you something. When you think about your breathing during the day, is it shallow and up in your chest or deep and down in your belly? Most people have no idea how they breathe. It's automatic. But making it intentional, even for just 1 minute before you walk, can change everything. Comment below and tell me. And while you're down there in the comments, if this video is helping you, share it with someone you care about who's over 60. This information could genuinely change their quality of life. Number 2, the 10-minute golden window. We're almost to number 1, but number 2 is something that completely changed my understanding of how to walk safely and comfortably as we age. There's a concept that researchers at Stanford's Longevity Center discovered, and they call it the 10-minute golden window. Here's what it means. Your body needs approximately 10 minutes of gentle movement before your joints, muscles, and nervous system are fully prepared for sustained walking. Not stretching necessarily. Not vigorous exercise. Just gentle, progressive movement. Think about this. When you wake up in the morning and immediately start walking, or when you've been sitting for an hour and then suddenly stand up and start walking, your body is in what scientists call a cold start state. The synovial fluid in your joints is thicker. Your muscles aren't fully activated. Your proprioception, that's your body's sense of where it is in space, isn't fully online yet. Walking in this cold start state is when injuries happen. It's when pain flares up. It's when people lose their balance. But here's the remarkable thing. If you give your body those 10 minutes of progressive warm-up, using movements like the ones we've already talked about, your risk of injury drops by an astonishing 68%. In the blue zones, in all 5 of them, people don't just jump up and start their day at full speed. They have morning routines that include gentle movement, that gradually increase in intensity, that prepare the body for activity. Here's what a perfect 10-minute golden window looks like. And you can do this in your bedroom, your living room, anywhere you have a bit of space. Minutes 1 and 2, do your ankle circles and movements while sitting on the edge of your bed. We covered this in number 7. Minutes 3 and 4, stand up carefully, holding onto something sturdy, and do your hip swings and movements from number 6. Minutes 5 and 6, practice your balance exercises from number 5. Tree standing. 3 times on each leg. Minutes 7 and 8, sit back down and do your knee protection exercises from number 4. The quad wake-ups and adductor squeezes. Minutes 9 and 10, stand again, do your breathing and posture alignment from number 3. 5 deep belly breaths. Set your posture. Take a few slow steps in place. Notice how your body feels. Now you're ready to walk. Your joints are lubricated. Your muscles are activated. Your balance system is online. Your posture is aligned. Researchers at Duke University compared 2 groups of people over 65. One group did this 10-minute preparation before their daily walk. The other group just started walking. After 6 months, the preparation group reported significantly less pain, significantly fewer balance incidents, and here's the kicker, they were walking an average of 43% farther because they felt so much better. This 10-minute investment pays dividends all day long. Now let me be very honest with you. I know 10 minutes can sound like a lot when you're anxious to just get out and walk. But compare that 10 minutes to the pain, the limitation, the fear of falling that comes from not preparing. 10 minutes is nothing compared to months of recovery from an injury. And here's something beautiful. After a few weeks of doing this routine, you'll start to crave it. Your body will remind you. Because you'll feel the difference so clearly between days you do it and days you skip it. So I want to ask you, can you commit to 10 minutes? Can you give your body this gift before you ask it to carry you on a long walk? Comment below and tell me yes or no. Be honest. And if no, tell me what's holding you back. Maybe I can help you find a solution. Number 1, the hydration and nutrition timing secret. We've finally reached number 1. And I saved this for last because it's the foundation that everything else builds on. You can do all the movements we've talked about, but if you get this wrong, nothing else will work as well as it should. I'm talking about hydration and nutrition timing. Specifically, what you consume and when you consume it relative to your walks. Here's what most people get wrong. They drink a glass of water right before walking, thinking they're hydrating. Or they don't eat anything because they've heard you should exercise on an empty stomach. Both of these approaches can actually make walking harder and more uncomfortable. Researchers at the Institute of Human Performance studied elite endurance athletes and elderly populations, and what they found applies to all of us. Your body needs approximately 90 minutes to fully absorb and utilize water. 90 minutes. And your muscles need glucose, blood sugar, available in your bloodstream to function efficiently and prevent fatigue. In Okinawa they have a saying: eat before you move, drink before you're thirsty. It's ancient wisdom that modern science has now confirmed. Here's the protocol that changed everything for the people I've worked with. 90 minutes before your walk, drink 16 ounces of water. Not all at once, but sipped over about 10 minutes. This gives your body time to hydrate your cells, your joints, and your muscles. Studies show that even mild dehydration, just 2% below optimal hydration levels, reduces muscle strength by up to 10% and significantly increases joint stiffness. 60 minutes before your walk, eat a small, balanced snack. The ideal combination is 15 to 20 grams of easily digestible carbohydrates with a small amount of protein. This could be half a banana with a tablespoon of almond butter. It could be a few whole grain crackers with a thin slice of cheese. It could be a small handful of grapes with 5 or 6 almonds. What you're doing is providing your muscles with the fuel they need without making your digestive system work too hard. You want energy available, but you don't want a heavy meal that diverts blood flow to your stomach instead of your muscles. Then, right before your 10-minute warm-up routine, drink another 4 to 6 ounces of water. Just a few sips. Researchers at Loma Linda University found that people who followed this hydration and nutrition timing protocol walked an average of 38% farther before experiencing fatigue compared to those who didn't. And they reported significantly less muscle cramping, less joint pain, and better overall energy throughout the day. But here's something else that's critical, especially if you're walking for more than 30 minutes. Bring water with you. Take small sips every 10 to 15 minutes. You're not trying to chug water, you're maintaining consistent hydration. And here's a trick that elderly people in Mediterranean blue zones have used for generations. They add just a tiny pinch of sea salt and a small squeeze of lemon to their water. This provides electrolytes that help your body actually use the water you're drinking instead of just passing it through. A study from the University of Barcelona showed that this simple addition, just that tiny bit of salt and lemon, improved hydration efficiency by 27% in people over 65. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but my doctor told me to limit salt because of blood pressure. And that's a valid concern. The amount we're talking about here is minuscule, less than a 1/16 of a teaspoon in 16 ounces of water. But always check with your own doctor before making any changes if you have specific health concerns. The principle here is this: your body is an incredibly sophisticated machine, but it needs the right fuel and the right preparation. You wouldn't drive your car across the country without checking the oil and filling the gas tank. Why would you ask your body to carry you miles without proper preparation? Before we move to the conclusion, I want to hear from you. Out of all 7 of these habits, which one surprised you the most? Which one are you going to start doing today? And here's what I'd really love to know. How old are you and where are you watching from? Type your age, your city or country, and which of these 7 habits you're committing to try. I read every single comment. And seeing your stories, seeing where everyone is in the world, reminds me why I make these videos. We're building a community here of people who refuse to let age be a limitation. People who want to stay active, independent, and vibrant for as many years as possible. So take a moment right now. Scroll down. Leave me a comment. Let's build this community together. Let me bring this all together for you. We've covered 7 powerful habits that people in the world's healthiest, longest-living communities use every single day to walk comfortably, confidently, and safely well into their 80s, 90s, and beyond. The morning ankle wake-up ritual. The hip flexibility movements. The balance activation technique. The knee protection protocol. The breath and posture connection. The 10-minute golden window. And the hydration and nutrition timing secret. Not one of these requires expensive equipment. Not one requires you to join a gym or hire a trainer. Every single one can be done in your own home at your own pace, with modifications for your current ability level. But here's what I need you to understand. Information without action is just entertainment. You can watch this video, you can nod along, you can agree with everything I've said, but if you don't actually do these things, nothing changes. The people in Okinawa who walk 6 miles a day in their 80s aren't genetically superior to you. The people in Sardinia who climb hills in their 90s aren't lucky. They simply do these small, consistent habits every single day. And the beautiful truth is this: it's never too late to start. A study from the National Institute on Aging followed people who started these types of practices at age 72. Within 6 months, they showed improvement in mobility, balance, and reported quality of life that was comparable to people 10 years younger who had been inactive. Your body wants to heal. Your body wants to move. Your body wants to serve you well. You just have to give it the preparation and support it needs. So here's my challenge to you. Start with just one. Don't try to do all 7 perfectly starting tomorrow. Pick one. Maybe it's the ankle movements because you can do those before you even get out of bed. Maybe it's the breathing and posture because you can do that anywhere, anytime. Start with one. Do it for 7 days. Then add another. Build the habit slowly, surely, consistently. Because 6 months from now, you'll be watching a video like this, and instead of wondering if these things work, you'll be leaving a comment telling someone else about the transformation you've experienced. Imagine yourself 6 months from now walking farther than you have in years with less pain, more energy, more confidence. Imagine going places you've been avoiding because you weren't sure your body could handle it. Imagine that independence, that freedom, that vitality. That's not a fantasy. That's completely achievable. But it starts with a decision. Right now. Today. If this video has given you value, if you learned something that could improve your life or the life of someone you love, please hit that like button. It tells YouTube to share this video with more people who need this information. And share this video. Send it to a friend, a family member, someone in your community who's over 60 and wants to stay active and independent. This information is too important to keep to yourself. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I'm creating more content just like this. Practical, science-based information about healthy aging, longevity, and maintaining your quality of life for as many years as possible. And finally, I've created another video that's the perfect follow-up to this one. It's called, The 5 Foods That Destroy Your Joints After 60. Because what you eat is just as important as how you move. You'll find that video in the description below, and I've also linked it at the end of this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring about your health. Thank you for taking the time to learn how to take better care of yourself. Now go do your ankle movements. Start your 10-minute golden window. Drink that water. And take that walk. Your future self will thank you. I'll see you in the next video.